Another Q&A, but this one focuses on auditions.
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Andrew here with part 6, which is always the greatest part, right? Oh no! If you haven't seen any of the previous Q&As, go ahead and click the link above. And if you have a question that you haven't seen in any of the previous Q&As and you'd like to have it answered, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I will try and add it to a future video. But now, let's get into some of the questions. And this video focuses more on auditioning and roles. So we start off with James Bowen, who ended up with the last Q&A session. James asks, out of either roles you've done for HHN so far, which in general was more fun and why? With atmosphere, character, interactions, etc. Now this question was answered before, but it goes a little bit deeper with James's question, meaning the topics of fun, atmosphere, character, interactions. So I'm going to say that the atmosphere of Run, Blood, Sweat, and Fears was more enjoyable, and that's not dissing my Texas Chainsaw Massacre crew at all. I mean that the house of Run, Blood, Sweat, and Fears was more enjoyable because it was a little bit more campy and silly because that's what the house was. So therefore, the house had more of a sense of silliness and campiness. When you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you do not normally think of fun and silly and campy. However, there was a strong brotherhood and sisterhood between the Leatherfaces, the Nubbins, the Draytons, the Kirks, and the Sallys, and that was great to have. And as far as interactions go, I have to say that I had better interactions as Herman Blitzkrieg. However, I scared many more people as Leatherface, like emotionally scarring people as Leatherface, which of course is a great thing at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it was really hard to pick one over the other, but I would say that there were more funny stories as Herman Blitzkrieg than there was as Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Next question goes to Life with Katie and Babies. What a cool name. Katie asked, or maybe it was the babies that asked this, I don't know. What role did you want before Leatherface? Well, the funny thing, after the event of Halloween Horror Nights, I thought to myself, do I want to go back and what would I want to do? So I said to myself, I would really enjoy two things out there. I would like to have a gas-powered chainsaw, so I was thinking something of maybe one of the Roaming Hordes or the Chainsaw Drill Team, something along those lines. And then the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to be an icon, whether it was an original icon from Halloween Horror Nights library or something that was created new that year, or something from an intellectual property. So when I auditioned for the reunion audition, which is basically scare actors from a previous year all come back, and then they're asked, like, what would your dream role be this year? I basically said just what I said right now. I would like to have a chainsaw, and I would like to play something iconic, like Leatherface. And man, I got exactly what I asked for. So with that question, we segue into the auditioning question. Chris Rogers wants to know, will you be auditioning for Halloween Horror Nights number 27? And if so, would you prefer a house or a scare zone? So I doubt very much that I'm going to be coming back for Halloween Horror Nights number 27 as a scare actor. Most likely I will be coming back as a guest, maybe doing a couple of vlogs on it, I don't know. I would really like to focus more on YouTube anyways and other outlets that I've got going on. There really isn't much for me left to do at Halloween Horror Nights, I think. The only thing that I could probably do is maybe be in a scare zone. Lonald P. Dakes asked the question, what is your dream character to play? Now, to be honest, I have no idea. I mean, I've played everything that I wanted to do. It's pretty hard to follow Herman Blitzkrieg and Leatherface. I love the following question, which comes from Corny Chris Vlogs, which is a great name too. As a theater major, do you suggest me to audition for Halloween Horror Nights? Yes, 1,000 times yes. As a theater major, is it a great resume builder? Somewhat. Basically what it is what you will gain out of the experience, and I think you would gain much more than you realize. You will be able to play a character, especially if it's an original property, that you really can put yourself into, and you'll be able to tap energies that you might not have been able to do in any other type of role. If you look back at past Halloween Horror Nights, like Halloween Horror Night number 26, there were some really talented scare actors in a scare zone that was called Vamp 55. I said it was going to be a sleeper hit. I knew it was going to be popular the moment that it came out there. Some people were like, vampires, meh. It was awesome. The scare actors that were in there did a great job. They really built up their own characters, gave themselves a little bit of a backstory, and really acted out. And that was a great scare zone. And speaking of backstories, the other scare zone that was out there, Survive or Die Apocalypse, There were a lot of little hidden gems in there. There were scare actors that did little sub-stories in there. There was a love story, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet thing between the clans, and things that you might not pick up if you were only there for the weekend. If you were a frequent fear type of guest where you kept on coming back, you might have seen glimpses here and there. But that is the things that I'm talking about that as a character, you can really put into your character. And there are plenty of connections also at Universal and in Halloween Horror Nights as well. And it's not just about building up your craft, but it's about networking as well. You can do it for a year, see what you got out of it. I'm going to tell you, though, you will be challenged physically, emotionally, mentally during the entire event, and it will be completely worth it. And another audition question from Mr. Stripes. What is the audition process like for Halloween Horror Nights? Basically, it is a typecast audition, which means that you will be brought in with a group of people, probably somewhere around 25 people. Usually there'll be a table of casting directors, somewhere around 3, maybe more, maybe less. They're going to ask you to state your name. They're going to ask you a personality question, something like maybe like, what's your favorite scary movie? Something to get to know you just a little bit because they're going through hundreds of people and they got to crank this all out. And like I said, it is a typecast audition, meaning that they are basically going to look at your body frame. They're going to look at your face. They're going to look at, are you a large frame, small frame, tall, short? They're going to basically take your physical look and say, yes, this is a good person to play a ghost or a banshee or a zombie or a hulking brute, whatever it might be. I mean, you look at me, I'm 6'3.5", 350 pounds, I'm bald, I got a beard, I have a very intimidating look, even though I'm a pretty nice guy. Basically, you have a certain type of look, and somebody like me would not fit very well in a house that was like Exorcist or Halloween. So don't get discouraged by not getting into a typecast audition. It just means that you didn't fit the suit or you didn't fit the look at the time. Just like I've been turned down from typecasts as well. I really wanted to be in the Universal Horror Makeup Show, but I got turned down because it was a typecast audition. Which leads me to the next question. Trent Nelson wants to know, do you just apply online to audition? Well, yes and no. I mean, in a way, you got to go ahead and book your audition online, and you have to fill out information. Like, if you want to get notified of different auditions that are out there, you have to put a profile online. So you're going to have to fill out some information there, but also you're going to have to fill out information when you get there too. So it is a yes and no. You're going to have to do it both times. I will say, if you have a headshot, bring it with you to the auditions. They say that it doesn't really matter, but it makes you look a little bit more professional, and regardless if you have one or not, they're going to take a picture of you anyways. Next on the list is Dakota Butler, who said, is there a way to work at Universal as a scare actor only on the weekends, or would it have to be every night? Yes, you can work a certain amount of time. There are positions that are out there that are part-time. They're called the reserves or the fire crew. Just remember that if you don't have open availability the majority of the event, you are most likely not going to get hard cast into a role. You're going to be in a filler spot. And also depending on what your size is. If you are average size, average build, you are chances going to be going into different scare zones or houses, and some people like it that way. Eric Enigma writes, what advice do you have for someone who wants to get into the scare acting business or working at Universal Studios in general? Well, my advice for you or for anybody else that wants to get into the scare acting business is it is a physical job. It is very physically demanding, and cardio is key. I'm a big dude. There were a lot of big dudes in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we sweated and we worked on our cardio and we made it out by the end of the event. Some of us, not all of us. Hey, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not everybody's going to survive. But also, don't take things personal. When you scare somebody and they laugh or they brush it off, whatever, don't take it personal. It might just not have been a good scare, or they might be laughing because that's how they cope with being scared. Also, if somebody takes a swing at you, don't take it personal. You might have just activated their fight or flight mechanism. Take it as a badge of honor. Scare them, get out of the way. That's it. Also, behind the scenes, show up on time for your set times. Actually show up before your set times. It will be very appreciative to your coordinator and your stage managers if you help out the people that are behind the scenes, like the tech people, makeup, props, all of that type of stuff, costuming. These people make you look good. So if you help them, they are going to make sure that you look the best when you're in front of the guests. And as far as Universal Studios goes in general, just because I had a bad experience at the end of my employment doesn't mean that it's not a good company to work for. I think it is a good company, and there are a lot of good people that are there. There are plenty of opportunities in Universal Orlando. You know, you might start off in one department doing one job, and you might work your way up. That's just how things go. It's all about how far you want to go, and you work with people that want to help you. And Universal is a great company to do that with. Last question of the video goes to Cam Garganta, who questions, nobody asked the $1 million question. How much do you make working there, or is it voluntarily? Well, the answer to that is definitely not $1 million, and it's definitely not voluntarily at Universal Orlando. There are going to be different scare haunts throughout the country here at the United States that are going to look for scare actors that volunteer their abilities for their event. It might be community oriented, and they might be raising funds for that, so they don't want to spend for scare actors. It's up to you whether you want to volunteer your time for it or not. It's fun to do regardless, but as far as Universal Orlando goes, and Universal Hollywood for that matter, they pay their scare actors. I'm not going to say how much Universal pays their employees. It's not my position to tell you how much they pay, and as time goes on, that's going to fluctuate anyways. But your typical scare haunt attraction, when they pay you, somewhere around $10 an hour, give or take $1. It's nothing to retire on, but then again, you're just one of the many different scare actors that are out there, and it's all about the experience anyways. And if you liked the video, tap that like button, plus share with all your friends in all forms of social media. If you have a question that you have not seen answered yet, leave a comment down below and I will see about adding it into a future video. Do not forget to subscribe so you get notified the moment I upload, and I will see you in the next video.